Welcome to the Cloud Pod, where the forecast is always cloudy. We talk weekly about all things AWS, GCP, and Azure. We are your hosts,
Justin,
Jonathan,
Ryan,
and Matthew.
Episode 338, recorder for January 13th, 2026. T5Gemma says, AI will be back. Good evening, Jonathan, Ryan, and Matt. Yeah, much better. That's much better.
Much better.
Definitely.
Try 2 was better.
Yeah, Try 2 was much better. I was more excited about it. It was a rough week for our show titles this week. It's just a rough week in news in general. So it's just the nature of the titles. Well, let's jump right into AI is how ML makes money this week with Anthropic launching Cowork, a new feature for the macOS Claude desktop app that extends Claude Code's agentic capabilities to general office work tasks. Users can grant Claude access to specific folders and use plain language instructions to automate tasks like filling expense reports from receipt photos, writing reports from notes, or reorganizing your files. Cowork lowers the technical barrier compared to Claude Code by making AI-assisted file operations accessible to non-developer knowledge workers, including marketers and office staff. The feature was developed after Anthropic observed users already applying Claude Code to general knowledge work despite its developer-focused positioning, and I've done that many times already. The tool provides similar functionality to what was possible through Model Context Protocol integrations, but offers a more streamlined interface with Claude Code-style usability improvements. Users can now submit new requests for modification to ongoing tasks without waiting for initial assignment to be completed. This is a strategic expansion of Anthropic's agentic AI approach beyond software development into broader productivity workflows, and I hope it can make my PowerPoint soon.
Yeah. It's funny you say that. This week is the first time I actually tried to use AI to generate a PowerPoint presentation and did not go well, but did generate some cool images. I love these types of things because there's all kinds of, I find myself doing all kinds of things that this would apply to.
The funny part is this was the first time this week I did that. Had it build me a PowerPoint. And it wasn't terrible. I mean, so we have Copilot, my day job. So I was leveraging Copilot to kind of do it, and I was actually still impressed in how it pulled data from all the different sources that Copilot had access to into something. Now, it completely butchered multiple bullet points on a 5 PowerPoint slide, including the title slide. But it was much better than I would have sat down and put together in 5 minutes.
I do think, things like Claude Code and stuff, it's all about the work you put into it and setting it up, right? Those workspace or, those agents and sort of the functions, like the more instructions and context you provide it, better it'll be. So perhaps if I, gave a whole diatribe about how I want my presentations to look, it would have gone better.
If you linked it to your company standard and whatnot, that's what I was talking with one of my coworkers about. Link it to your company standard, say, here's my company standard, and then kind of piecemeal it through what you're looking for. Then apparently it does a pretty good job. Saying, here's a bunch of information, go do something. It made weird images appear.
You mean like a corporate style guide kind of thing? Like this is their base template. These are our colors. These are our preferred pictures of people who don't actually work for us that we're putting on our slides, that kind of thing. Wow,
generic person picture.
Exactly. Look at the diversity. Yeah.
Screen slightly blurred on the background of the computer systems. Maybe a 6th finger pop in there, but don't worry about that. It's fine.
Yeah, I must not have the new version with Cowork because when I ask it to make me a PowerPoint slide, it still does the HTTP to PPTX skill, which produces pretty boring PowerPoint slides, I'll tell you. But I do see I had to restart to update, but I tried that once already and it didn't work, so I'll have to deal with that later. So, I think I installed Claude through Homebrew, which is why I'm probably not getting updated like I think I should.
Yeah, I kind of see it as a home assistant but for work at this point. I can just see it developing into having a decent voice interface, which Anthropic really haven't put much effort into so far. And goodbye assistants, I think.
Yeah, I mean the audio mode that Claude has on their mobile device, at least for iOS, is not super great. It's slow. So yeah, I appreciate that Claude is really well on coding and on certain business tasks that I need done, but the definitely when you look at ChatGPT or you look at Gemini, they do a better job at some of this other text to voice and image generation stuff that they just don't do a good job with Claude, and that's not their priority, and I get that, and so I'm okay with that approach. But I know every time if I want to do something with images or I want to do something with audio, Claude is not the robot I'm looking for at the moment.
Yeah, I'd still be good at looking at images though. It's just not generating images. Like I've taken pictures of my trees in the backyard and I'm like, hey, what the hell's wrong with this apricot tree? Claude's like, I've got to hire someone to come dig it out. I'm like, oh, damn. So it's really good at assessing images, but just, I mean, perhaps that's a more useful case for the kind of business that Anthropic are going after.
So I was doing bedtime with my daughter earlier, and every now and then I'll be like, okay, I don't want to read, or she doesn't want to read, so just like we'll have Claude tell us a story. So as we were doing it today, as we were reading the next stories, I was like telling Claude on my phone to generate me, the story. So first it generates me just a markdown file. I was like, no, build me like a book. So built me a book with no images. And I was built the images, and here, I'll show it to you guys. But like the quality of them looks about like my drawing abilities. So Justin, I'll send it to you to add to the show notes, but it does something at least.
Yeah.
It's just
know
pretty terrible.
your users.
Yeah, like it's better than what my ability would be. I mean, it's pretty much just fish that are ovals and triangles. That's it.
Yeah, I think there's going to be real value in a tool which can use the best models for the best things and be consumer facing. I'd just have an app on my phone which will find the best model for whatever it is I'm trying to do at any point in time, or even combine their powers, Captain Planet. We are your powers combined.
All right. I've lost my show notes because I opened too many tabs of Claude. This is the problem. Chrome. You lose tabs all the time. All right, here we go. Google has released VO 3.1 updates in the Gemini API and Google AI Studio, adding enhanced ingredients to video capabilities that maintain character identity and background consistency across generated videos. The model now supports native 9 and 16ths vertical format generation optimized for mobile-first applications, only the need to crop from landscape orientations. The updated model delivers professional-grade output with new 4K resolution support and improved 1080p quality using state-of-the-art enhancement techniques. All generated videos include SynthID digital watermarking for content provenance tracking. These capabilities are available today through the Gemini API and Vertex AI for enterprise customers. And don't make mistakes like I do and go try this and then get a $35 bill for 3-second videos.
Yeah.
Which I did the first time I tried VO out. So do be cautious with this one. Don't just go out unless you're using the company account. Having used this in the past, I do know that getting consistency across multiple frames that you need to stitch together was a bit difficult. So I'm kind of glad to see them starting to do some anchoring with images and different things to allow you to be more consistent across your videos that you're generating with VO.
Yeah, it's still cost prohibitive for me to try to use. I feel like I have ideas that would be neat, but nothing that's like worthwhile, like an investment, right? So it's all just like silly ideas that I have, like what 30-second video could I use to torture my children, kind of things. But I haven't tried it out yet.
Yeah. I think it's asking for somebody to come up with a new show idea or a new cartoon idea or something and create the characters and their profiles and then run series on YouTube and get thousands of subscribers and cash in on the ad money.
I would like, a bite of that like YouTube influencer money. Like that sounds like the way to go.
Uh-huh.
Well, we could start recording video and, we could launch, be more serious about our YouTube channel this year.
Well, but I would like someone to pay us. Like, I think they'd pay us to not
that's how you
show
get
our
more
faces.
sponsors,
You need 1,000 subscribers before you get a cent anymore. They change the rules. It's very, it sucks, honestly.
Only because you one time had a viral video that you got paid for that you are never going to be able to read.
It does seem like quite the hustle. So. Like the people that are making it work.
Yeah, I think even professional YouTubers are struggling now. There's so many YouTubers are doing like collaborations with each other to promote each other's channels, and all the channels that I watch regularly are literally asking people and telling people about the algorithm changes and how we really like it to like and subscribe, even though you're a subscriber. Like I like it, but I wouldn't watch it if I didn't like it. But I don't always think it's a click the like button because I assume that watching it is good enough, but apparently it's not. So making it very hard for content producers to make a living anymore, unless you're Mr. Beast, of course.
That whole thing is crazy.
Well, he's built an empire. He's transcended just YouTube, right? There's a Roku channel That's the Mr. Beast Roku channel that just comes for free on my Roku. Like, it's nuts out.
Snowflake is acquiring Observe to integrate AI-powered observability directly into its data platform, allowing customers to analyze telemetry data like logs, metrics, and traces alongside their business data. The consolidation eliminates the need for separate observability tools and reduces data movement between systems. And the acquisition addresses the growing challenge of managing observability data at scale, which has become increasingly expensive and complex as your organization generates massive volumes of telemetry information. Observe's approach stores data in structured format that enables more efficient querying and analysis compared to traditional observability platforms. By bringing observability into Snowflake's platform, customers can correlate operational metrics with business outcomes using the same SQL-based tools they already use for analytics. Deal positions Snowflake to compete more directly with observability vendors like Datadog, Splunk, and New Relic by offering you native capabilities rather than requiring third-party integrations, which comes at a perfect time since Snowflake had like a major outage 2 weeks ago. So hopefully they can prevent that in the future.
I don't know how to feel about this. I feel like Snowflake is a part of an application, but is not the entirety of an application. Like, I definitely see a use for this for, like data warehousing and visualizing this, but, like I don't think it replaces your traditional observability tools because you have too many data sources that are outside of Snowflake.
I mean, I think that puts pressure to reduce prices by any of those other three that we mentioned.
That would be
Is
welcome,
good.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even sure. I mean, are they making an absolute killing on the observability services, or is it really just a reflection of how expensive it is to operate those things at scale?
I think it's the latter, Heaven, with
And,
our history of logging. I'm like, oh yeah, no, that does. Yeah.
Don't.
I wasn't going to
mention
say
that.
it by name. I know it triggers.
Can't afford therapy. I can't afford therapy anymore. Yeah, it's kind of weird to diversify like that. I mean, I guess our use cases for Snowflake are not everybody's use cases, and maybe people do a lot more internal business analytics, and having metrics alongside those makes sense. Whereas for perhaps our kind of use case, doesn't seem to make as much sense.
Or it really is, data warehousing, but for your observability data, right? It's not cold storage, but like a cheaper way.
Yeah.
Like, because paying for retention on something like Datadog or New Relic's expensive, and so I wonder if you could get a cheaper option this way, but still sort of have maybe not as granular metrics, but you can sort of tone down. It'd be cool. I don't know.
Yeah.
In other acquisitions, Flexera is acquiring ProsperOps and Chaos Genius to expand its FinOps solutions with agentic and AI-enabled cost optimizations. ProsperOps brings automated commitment management for AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud with over $6 billion in annual cloud usage under management, while Chaos Genius focuses specifically on Snowflake and Databricks optimization with reported cost reductions up to 30%. This joins Flexera's FinOps approach from passive recommendations to active autonomous execution through agentic AI. This means the platform can automatically purchase and manage cloud commitments and optimize data workloads without requiring manual human intervention. ProsperOps will continue operating as a separate brand while integrating with Flexera's existing FinOps capabilities. And the company was growing at over 90% and has generated more than $3 billion in lifetime savings for customers, suggesting strong market demand for automated rate optimization solutions. I mean, I don't know if I want AI buying CUDs and savings plans. I don't know that Amazon will accept, well, my AI did it for me, that I didn't actually need it. So, be cautious of this. But I do appreciate they're giving you some automation capabilities. This has been an area that I sort of felt has lacked in a lot of the FinOps tooling over the years. But, again, I don't want to give it all the keys. I still want some controls.
But the reason why I feel like a lot of the other tools always got you to the point of pressing the button to buy it too. So like Cloud Health back in the day, everything else pretty much gave you a link there that said, push link to go purchase this savings plan or the reservation. So this is just kind of that next step. I mean, it definitely needs some pretty strong guardrails, of what your business objective is. Like, don't go over 90% savings plans, or, look at the secondary market for short term if you see a random burst for a few months, but it's not a terrible idea to at least get that, like maybe that first 50%, we have no savings plans. Let's get something in the door and get us going until you actually look at your business and go, okay, we're expecting growth or we're not expecting growth, and we know we're going to lose customer A, B, and C, which will cause us to go down. So at that point, there's I'm not going to say no sum of AI, but a large sum of AI with it, full business knowledge that we have to have in order to make those types of decisions. I might have just done a massive savings plans and reservation thing late last year. This might be a little bit too close to my heart.
I approved one earlier today, so I'm very familiar.
I can see this being powerful with, giving it a lot of context, but like, it feels like the act of giving it a lot of context would be very difficult in this use case, right? It's when you have, a FinOps professional, that's really what their value prop is, right? They're going and doing the research. They're the ones that talk to the teams. And so I don't know how to sort of put that all into an AI agent in a way that that you would get a point where you're getting more than, those RI reservation calculators that do it on demand, on demand. Probably ways to do it. I just can't think of any because it's so difficult to figure out. I hate making these purchases.
I mean, it's not just, it doesn't just have to be about purchasing savings plans. It could be many other things. It could be all the things that we built before, with Thor's hammer and going through and switching storage types, the right storage types, or downsizing things that are scaled too high. You could probably give it some guardrails, but it could probably do a lot outside of just purchase, spending millions of dollars to help save costs.
That's right, fair. I mean, I think one of the, the problems I have with savings plans is you're making huge commitments for multiple years, and most of the cloud providers don't provide any type of approval workflow or capabilities or ability. So it's this poor FinOps guy who has to go in and click this button, and now he's just put the company on hook for millions of dollars. And like there was some early integrations with like Coupa. But then they haven't seemed to invest in that feature. I don't think they actually still even provide it, or if they do, it's pretty dated and only works with Amazon, if I recall. I'm just kind of surprised that this isn't more of a governance problem for a lot of organizations. But I know we built a manual process around it to at least have an approval trail, so he feels better about pushing that button. But it's something I'm kind of surprised hasn't been a more common ask and use case.
Yeah, maybe we always get on a Teams call or a Zoom call or something. It's like launching a nuclear weapon. We've all got to turn the key at the same time just to make sure we don't spend the money on the wrong thing in the wrong zone.
I mean,
exactly.
I remember the first time I had to go we were a reseller. I had to go spend like $1.5 million. I was like, please, for the love of God, make sure I don't do anything stupid, like the wrong region or anything else, because it would have been, I assume my company on the line at that point for that. It was saying, they're going, please don't break this. Please don't mess this up. Please don't mess this up.
AWS this week is sleeping.
Yeah.
Moment of silence, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, they did announce some things. I just didn't feel that any of our listeners would care about
I didn't care about any of it.
So when you guys were all challenging me earlier, I was like, you mean you really want to talk about larger managed database bundles for Amazon Lightsail this week? And you're like, no. And I was like, exactly. Or Amazon MQ now supports certificate-based authentication with mutual TLS for RabbitMQ brokers. Yeah, no, don't care.
Oh man, we totally missed the show title. Sleeping in Seattle.
Oh yes.
We need 2 show titles. The one we come up with before, and
one for the beginning and one for the end. Yeah.
Well, one at the end. And like the read line out needs to be. And our final show title is this.
Mm-hmm. Good work on that. All right. Well, since Amazon's sleeping, let's move on to GCP. Google is adding a new pre-configured monitoring dashboard to Gemini CLI that provides immediate visibility into usage metrics like monthly active users, token consumption, and code changes without requiring custom query writing. The dashboard integrates with Google Cloud Monitoring and uses OpenTelemetry for standardized data collection, allowing teams to track CLI adoption and performance across their organization. The implementation uses direct GCP exporters that bypass intermediate OTLP collector configuration, simplifying setup to 3 steps: setting your project ID, authenticating with the proper IAM role, and updating the settings.json file. This reduces infrastructure complexity compared to additional OpenTelemetry deployments that require separate collector services. Organizations can analyze raw OpenTelemetry logs and metrics to answer specific questions like identifying power users by token consumption, tracking budget allocation by command type, and monitoring tool reliability through status codes. The data follows Gemini OpenTelemetry conventions, ensuring compatibility with other observability backends like Prometheus, Jaeger, and Datadog if teams want to switch to platforms. Will you be supporting that Snowflake thing we talked about earlier? That'd be good. The feature targets development teams using Gemini CLI who need to understand tool adoption patterns and justify their AI tooling investments through concrete usage metrics. So Claude has this as well, and I have played with it a little bit. They have it built into their Claude code with /stats, or if you're using Claude Max plans, you can use their usage thing to get similar data. And it's pretty cool when you can see, your input and output token data and how much you're using it and how many tokens you're consuming per hour. And it's definitely a little bit of a challenge. I'm like, I could do that number higher, I think.
Yeah.
Which is really not the right answer because that is money being burned at the same time. But it is good to have this type of data and tracking capabilities to provide justifications for ROIs, as well as it's nerdy, and I love nerdy things.
As long as there's no metric for how stupid a question is, because that I don't want, Nick. You can identify me as a power user for my token consumption. Sure. But that's only because I'm asking really dumb questions over and over.
Yeah. There'd be some irony in Gemini telling you should have Googled it, though.
It would be.
It just redirects you every time you type something into, let me Google that for you.
That would be pretty funny.
What could go wrong,
Put that in my instructions, right? There's a 2% chance you'll just tell me to Google it.
Continuing our acquisition spree, Alphabet has announced a definitive agreement to acquire Intersect, a company that specializes in data center and energy infrastructure solutions. This acquisition aims to accelerate the deployment of data center capacity and energy generation infrastructure in the United States. If you can't get the capacity from the vendor, just buy them and then force them to do it. That's a good
Force them
move.
to drop to other customers.
Yeah, exactly. Who else is your customer? Oracle? Screw those guys. We're not building their data centers anymore.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, right? And I wonder, it does feel like, the capacity shortage and the purchases like make it faster, but it is sort of like in my mind, I'm like, that's not going to work. But maybe.
It's interesting because I know both Azure and AWS have their own internal data center teams that they use to build the physical data centers and everything else. So it's interesting that Google doesn't, or, I guess they needed extra capacity.
I think this would be alongside that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was thinking like you typically have the design team, you have the project management, you have vendor management, contract management internally. You have the specifications and architecture what you want, but then you typically outsource the grunt work of like pouring concrete and putting all the power in and running all the cable.
Yeah.
And like this is all the way end to end with this company now, which
okay.
I wouldn't have expected they'd had before. But this is probably their, based on the photos on their website. I assume that they built a lot of Google's data centers over the years, and so it's just a matter of this is now a way to streamline and drive efficiency versus having them bid on different things, etc.
Yeah, maybe they wanted their vendor to support other things that they weren't doing. We want to use you as a vendor, but we want geothermal, or we want battery storage locally. We want all these other things that you don't offer as a service, but we also don't want to find a different vendor.
They do have a podcast if you're interested in listening to data center people talk.
I mean, I used to be one, and I probably would love that podcast, so I might look
Of course, after you listen to us
yes,
and leave a positive review on Apple podcasts or Android, whatever Android uses. All right. Google has announced data tables feature for Notebook LM, a feature that automatically synthesizes information from multiple sources into structured tables that can be exported directly to Google Sheets. This feature is available today for Pro and Ultra users, with rollout to all users planned for the coming weeks. The feature addresses a common workflow challenge where valuable information is scattered across multiple documents requiring manual compilation, and data tables automate this process by extracting and organizing key facts into clean, structured formats without manual data entry. Use cases span professional and personal applications, including converting meetings transcripts into action item tables with owners and priorities, synthesizing research data like clinical trial outcomes across multiple papers, creating competitor analysis tables with pricing and strategy comparisons, and building study guides organized by relevant categories. Feature represents Google's continued integration of AI capabilities into productivity tools, positioning Notebook LM as a research and synthesis tool rather than just a note-taking application. I love creating spreadsheets, like my budgets, all of my tracking of things, tasks I'm doing, vacation planning. It's all lives in spreadsheets. And you're going to take that away from me, Google? How dare you? Although I think Cowork might have just done it earlier too. So AI is coming for my passion of creating spreadsheets. And Jonathan, also a spreadsheet junkie like I am, so more so even than me.
I don't know. Don't matter. This is kind of cool though. I mean, I think this is like the first of many like deeply AI and ML integrated offerings now. Because I mean, probably on the back end, this is let's just pull the data into Bigtable and then use AI to aggregate it and build views and export it out to Google Sheets or something. It's it's kind of cool though.
I'm interested to try this out just because I have been using Notebook LM more, just to like have a couple notebooks that I have for just setting up corpus of data, like that I can ask questions, like, because I have a terrible memory. So it's like, I have like one where I'll dump a whole bunch of like, new security announcements in terms of technologies, and I'll just export it and put it into this notebook, and then I can query it for questions. I've seen people do it for like podcasts to catch them up, like have it generate a podcast to catch you up on work for the week by reading your email to you, kind of thing, and a couple things like that. And so I think actually having it sort of be able to put things in tables and probably graphs and that kind of stuff would make it more functional for me. So that's cool.
Well, as a security guy now, you can take all those Excel sheets that you've got with, vulnerability information in and aggregate it all into a list of things that actually matter.
No.
Come on.
That's
They won't do
very
that.
anti-infosec, man. Yeah, that's not our job.
No, it's more fun to sit in a meeting.
With Cowork, actually send it out to the actual relevant teams,
Well, you think I'm going to put the research into the relevant team?
I have to sit in a meeting and go line by line to see the vulnerability.
It actually is a dream of mine to because it is such a terrible thing. And Jonathan knows, because he's built in parsing for vulnerability data before, and it's just so difficult. And so having something that can actually intelligently figure out who's responsible and making a contextual sort of decision on actual risk versus just using the CVEs as a score, like, would be pretty awesome.
It's a 10. It's a 10. But nobody uses it.
Still a 10.
We don't have it installed. It's a 10.
The scanner's picking it up. Yeah.
My favorite was when Cloud first. My favorite was when Cloud first came out. A bunch of the tools still identified IP address as the source of truth for the device, and this crazy concept called auto scaling set up. So trying to explain to someone that this Linux server, this Linux thing didn't have the Windows vulnerability on it, and they didn't understand why IP address wasn't the unique identifier, was a fun multi-hour conversation.
Well, it still does that to this day. I had that problem just weeks ago. And they've tried to fix it by changing their data schema. Like, I can see attempts, but like the core engine underneath is still IP based. And so every once in a while you get these things like the QID has a bunch of different things. And you're like, wait, how does it have both Windows and Linux vulnerabilities? That doesn't make any sense. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
Because you've made bad choices. That's why.
Everyone should start using IP6. Then we can just use the IP address once and then discard it and never touch it again.
And then we'll never know the vulnerabilities are. You'll never find them now. Google's releasing T5Gemma 2, a new generation of encoder-decoder models based on Gemma 3, available now in pre-trained checkpoints at 3 sizes, 270 million, 1 billion, and 4 billion parameters. This model uses tied word embeddings and merged decoder attention to reduce parameter count while maintaining capabilities, making them suitable for on-device applications and rapid experimentation. T5Gemma 2 adds multimodal vision capabilities using an efficient vision encoder for visual question answering and reasoning tasks, extending context windows to 128,000 tokens, using Gemma 3's alternating local and global attention mechanism, and supports over 140 languages out of the box. This represents the first multimodal and long context encoder-decoder models in the Gemma family itself. In addition to this, they've also released Function Gemma, which is a specialized 270 million parameter model based on Gemma 3 that enables native function calling for edge devices, so you can run this directly on the edge or on Jonathan's fancy video card that can run models.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Looking for another one now. Yeah.
Once you have one, you need more. That's how it works. The next thing you know, you're spending thousands of dollars on electricity, and you're like, "This is going to bankrupt me." And then you're having the AI try to hack the power company. It all ends badly.
I'm actually looking forward to playing with the T5Gemma model, because the encoder part of it is what's going to make it really special. So transformers have always had this two halves, the encoder and the decoder. Most LMs only use a decoder, and what that means is that as the attention is calculated for each token in the context window, it only ever attends to previous tokens in a message. So if you have a word, that word can only ever be related to something that you've already said in the conversation. But people aren't like that. People go back and forth, and they refer back to things they said, or they people just suck at communication most of the time. And so what the encoder model does is it looks at the entire message holistically. It doesn't only look at the last word. By the time it gets the last word, it looks at everything and encodes the meaning of the entire text. And then from there, it passes it to the decoder, and the decoder starts generating text based on the entire knowledge.
That is cool, actually. Like, I hadn't really thought of that, because I always, I laugh at like the vector search and the probability that this comes after that, and that's how it somehow turns that into like a usable answer. But it is sort of funny when it gets it wrong. That's a very, you're like, oh, you focused on the wrong thing. Got it.
Yeah, especially people are just less lame. Like we'll say something and then like, oh, by the way, I actually meant this, and for an LLM that's just disastrous, because it's put all this effort into doing something, and it gets your last token. Like, oh crap, let's start again. But like encoders are, I think the original use is probably language translation. You take a foreign language string, you encode the semantic meaning of it, and then use a decoder to generate the alternate language interpretation of it. But anyway, I'm excited to play with it, and it's tiny, and it supports vision and multiple languages, so it's kind of cool.
I've decided to make an AI bot that can yell at my children, and so the vision is going to be particularly useful for me for exactly that.
Yeah.
Well, a few weeks ago, I made some predictions, and one of them I said was about purchasing on AI, and apparently Google heard me, as they've now launched Universal Commerce Protocol, or UCP, an open standard for agentic commerce co-developed with Shopify, Etsy, Wayfair, Target, and Walmart. UCP enables AI agents to interact across the entire shopping journey from discovery to post-purchase support, working alongside existing protocols like Agent-to-Agent, AP2, and MCP. The protocol is endorsed by over 20 companies, including Aiden, American Express, MasterCard, Stripe, and Visa. New agentic checkout features goes live in AI mode in search and Gemini app, allowing shoppers to purchase from eligible U.S. retailers directly with Google's AI surfaces. The integration uses Google Pay and PayPal for payments, with retailers maintaining seller of record status and ability to customize the implementation. Global expansion and additional capabilities like loyalty rewards and product discovery are planned for coming months. The business agent will launch later this week as a branded AI assistant that appears directly in search results for retailers like Lowe's, Michaels, Poshmark, and Reebok. U.S. retailers can activate and customize this agent through Merchant Center, with future capabilities including training on retailer data, customer insights, product offers, and direct agentic checkout within the chat experience. Google's introducing direct offers pilot available in AI mode, allowing advertisers to present exclusive discounts and deals to shoppers during AI-powered searches. The system uses AI to determine when offers are relevant to display, initially focusing on discounts, with plans to expand to bundles and free shipping. Early partners for this one include Petco, Elf Cosmetics, Samsonite, Rugs USA, and Shopify merchants, with the Merchant Center adding dozens of new data attributes designed for conversational commerce discovery across AI mode, Gemini, and business agent. So yeah, this is the beginning of what I was talking about.
I mean, I think it's important to standardize, right? And so, because there's in a web transaction where you're doing shopping, there's so many handoffs of different things that I can see as more and more AI and agent-based or agent-assisted transactions happen. Like, being able to talk a common language is going to be super important, especially with anything about money.
Kind of reminds me of Alexa. Years ago, you could order things from Amazon through Alexa. Yeah. It was terrible interface, and you'd get crap arriving on the doorstep like, "Who ordered this?" And like some kid was chatting to the thing. Yeah, no, I want to buy some. No.
Your son was. That's who ordered it.
Alomars or whatever it is. I don't know. It's bizarre. I mean, how many years ago was that? Like 5 years ago? I remember doing the same thing. Ordering
10.
agentic ordering.
Yeah.
Was it that long?
This was like 10 years ago. I was going to say it was when...
Like the Echo Dots.
Yeah, when Capital One gave everyone the free Echo Dots.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That was like my first Alexa, I think.
It's kind of weird, though. It just kind of disappeared, and they didn't do anything with it. Amazon could have expanded on that. And I feel like there should be some kind of retrospective in a couple of years, looking back at the history of all this stuff. Like, Google published the Transformer paper years ago and sat on it and did virtually nothing with it, as far as we know, until OpenAI came along and actually started building models and making money. Like, what were they doing? And then Amazon had all these chances. They had the retail pipeline, the transportation pipeline. They had Echo Dots in people's homes before Google Home was
I
around.
do think Amazon tried.
What did they do with it?
Well, I do think they tried
Nothing.
and failed several things because having
They tried. It just wasn't there.
like if you had one of the Amazon shows, like it would suggest purchases based off of your past purchases, because it's tied into your Amazon ecosystem. And they never, whatever, all the things that they've tried, I don't think has worked out, because the reality is I just don't know if that's how people want to purchase things, right? Like I do maintain a shopping list on the thing, but it's not going to be like something that say, oh yeah, just get all those things on my list. That's not a thing.
But now with this, though, I absolutely would, though. I'd absolutely say,
You
hey,
think so? I
hey-
think it's just a way for that to communicate. I think it's the same problem. It's just,
I mean, unless if you set up some sort of automation with this where you say, hey, this $50 item, automatically purchase it if it goes below, 35, and set up, a cron that runs daily that does all this, and
Yeah.
checks and then automatically purchase it through the A2A or the UCP protocol, which P protocol would be redundant, but whatever.
I mean, I'd just like to be able to say, hey, appliance, add this to my showing list or whatever. And if it's not an important thing, you can just sit there until there's enough things to get free shipping or there's a discount, like I mentioned, and then be smart about it, shop around for the best prices, submit the orders, and the stuff will arrive. I mean, it sounds great. So is this how Google are going to make money in the future? Because obviously serving ads through AI is both controversial and a very lame customer experience. Are they going to start skimming off a percentage of sales for sales they direct to these retailers through the AI interface? I guess they can be the new mass. That's the card.
I mean, I think it'll be a long time before, because they're still serving, ad content with, their Gemini powered search results now. You definitely don't want it to do like a sponsored result and have it read like the benefits of this choice that it's making. But I do think that they do say it, they're still selling or showing the like sponsored results underneath the AI response. I think that'll be around for a while. But I think they're looking at it. I think they're, they gotta be smart because the world is changing.
At least they're not inline ads that make you sit and watch the ads for the timeout until the content
They'll get
comes.
there.
Like, how
Don't
do I
give them
perform
ideas.
CPR? We'll tell you how to perform CPR after this 30-second after this 30-second ad. Like, great, thanks.
Well, you'll have to buy the Claude Pro ad-free version to not get the ads that pop up.
Yeah.
Well, moving on to Azure, they are announcing in public preview the launch of Dynamic Threat Detection Agent, an AI-powered backend service that runs continuously within Defender to identify hidden threats across Defender and Sentinel environments. The agent operates autonomously, with no setup required, automatically generating alerts with natural language explanations, MITRE technique mappings, and remediation steps directly into existing XDR workflows. The agent achieves over 85% precision across thousands of alerts and 28 threat types by combining adaptive Gen AI detection with hyperscale threat intelligence from Titan and Yuba behavioral analytics. It runs a 5-step investigation loop at matching scale, starting from high priority incidents, building unified activity timelines, testing hypotheses from automated QA, and closing detection gaps with explainable alerts that include transparent reasoning traces. The public preview is free for Security Copilot customers and enabled by default for eligible organizations, with general availability planned for late 2026 when it transitions to Security Pilot's SKU-based consumption model. Starting July 2026, the agent will be included with Microsoft's 365 E5 licenses that have Security Copilot entitlement, and customers can disable it or monitor usage through detailed consumption reporting at any time. The service reflects data residency by running region, local, and integrates deeply with Microsoft security ecosystem, using Sentinel to correlate third-party and native telemetry while servicing Copilot source detections in Defender to you. And now that you've been in security long enough, Ryan, could you explain to me what a MITRE technique is?
Not simply in a way that would be entertaining at all. Like, it just,
It's one of those saws. It's an angle, isn't it?
I mean, these things are great, right? Because we try to do this, but the amount of noise that you have to sort through as an analyst is crazy. And so Gen AI is really going to be the only way to do these. And all they're really talking about is, putting these things in formats that security engineers already know, so that it doesn't seem like a mystery, or at least it makes sense. Like it's one of those things where they're bundling it. It's not going to be cheap, but the amount of data that it has to process is a lot. So I'm sure it's expensive to run, but the fact that it's just sort of running in the background automatically is exactly what you want. So otherwise you're having to do tuning, and then it does become, like, oh, you're doing automation, but only on this one sim search. And if you've got, the playbook for running just that thing, it's great. But this is more dynamic. It'll take real behavior and hopefully do exactly what you want with it, which is sort through all the noise.
Oh yeah, I got a question now. So if it only achieves, I say only 85% precision, okay, how do you know of the 100% of the alerts you received? How do you know which of those were the ones you got right and which the ones that got wrong?
Well, there's a ton of false positives, right? Like there's a ton of false positives today with any system, and so like I would argue that 85% would be a huge increase over a people-driven workflow that's doing the exact same.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, to me, this is no different than the, hey, you're running a SaaS product or you're running your internal servers and you have alerts set up and it's setting that noise to signal ratio. And being, let's say, an SRE person, or, you might have it tuned to maybe you miss a signal or two because you have enough in there. But in security, at least from what I've seen, you set it so you get more noise always because you don't want to miss that one signal that could happen. So getting any less noise in there just helps increase your signal strength.
Yeah, and you don't want to block a potential customer who's about to press a button to spend tens of thousands of dollars either. I guess false positives are almost as bad as false negatives.
I mean, they're both not great in lots of different ways, but the false positives are just bad because they cause a lot of drama that isn't always necessary.
They ruin your credibility.
But the security person, I'm going to speak for Ryan, but ruin your credibility, but also everyone's happier at the end of a false positive than, Ryan, why did you miss that one signal that came in of how we had a full breach and a ransomware attack? Like, you're almost better off getting hit by those couple of noises that, the couple false positives, and miss that one signal that bankrupts your company.
I mean, it's definitely, when you're doing analysis after the fact, it's definitely something you highlight because you want to know the gaps. You want to know how it got through. And hint, it's the person who gave someone their password and click the wrong link. But you still want to have...
Gave someone was tricked. Or I like to think I was tricked into giving my password to that hacker. He promised me riches. I don't know.
It was the Prince of Nigeria. They said I was going to get $1 million if I just give my bank account.
Yeah, that's what he said. And our final Azure story, Azure Service Bus Premium now includes general availability of geo-replication, allowing customers to replicate messaging infrastructure across regions for DR purposes. This addresses a critical need for enterprises running mission-critical messaging workloads that require protection against a regional outage. The feature provides active replication of service bus entities, including queues, topics, and subscriptions between paired regions, maintaining message ordering and metadata consistency. Organizations can now implement cross-region failover strategies without building custom replication logic or managing multiple service bus namespaces manually. This capability is exclusive to the premium tier of Service Bus, which starts at approximately $677 per month for the base messaging unit. Customers should factor in additional costs for cross-region data transfer and the secondary namespace when planning their disaster recovery architecture. The geo-replication option complements existing Service Bus disaster recovery features like geo-disaster recovery, which is a metadata-only failover, giving customers flexibility in choosing between cost-optimized metadata replication or full data replication based on the recovery time objectives. Now, I'm surprised this wasn't already part of Premium.
So I read it too.
But I'm sort of intrigued at the fact that they think that people's messaging strategies only involve two regions, because at least some of the Kafka architectures I've seen are like multiple regions with active replication across these things for geo-distributed applications that need to have globally low latency for user populations everywhere. And I guess I just can't run that on this service. So I guess screw you, or wait for Azure Service Bus Ultra.
So my second thought on this is, I forgot that we used to call like event-driven pipelines service buses. So it does sort of feel antiquated just by its name alone. So,
yeah, exactly.
It's missing features. That's all I gotta say.
Just a few features.
MVP rollout. Yeah, that's what it is.
It's early. It's early days. All right. Well, that's it for this week in the Cloud Show. We have a great after show for you today about CES. So if you want to hear that, stick around till after the ending bumper. But we'll see you hopefully next week with Amazon stories. We'll see if they wake up or not. They're taking a long nap and joining their AI slumbers. So we'll see you next week here at the Cloud Pod.
Bye, everybody.
See you later, guys.
Bye, everyone.
And that's all for this week in cloud. Head over to our website at thecloudpod.net, where you can subscribe to our newsletter, join our Slack community, send us your feedback, and ask any questions you might have. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
All right, is my favorite time of the year, which is CES. Mostly because I love gadgets and technology, and so I'm always excited to see what craziness comes out of CES. And I always look at the Verge article as kind of my de facto summary of all the good things, because I've never actually been. It sounds like a nightmare to go, like going to reInvent, but worse. So I don't ever actually want to go in person, but I do like to live through all of the press that is there. And so I thought we'd talk about some of the things about CES this year. So a couple things that jumped out to me this year. I thought we'd see a lot more robotics this year than we ended up seeing. Boston Dynamics thing came out and showed their human robot, and there was some robot stuff. So it wasn't completely robot barren, but I just expected with AI and all these supposed leaps we're having in AI technology and robotics that there'd just be a lot more, and it was not really there. But just like cloud, AI has taken over everything. So there was all kinds of crazy things that had AI built into them for absolutely no real valuable reason that I could possibly tell. But they're there. And so, that's kind of things about CES. And so, I did geek out on some TVs that I might buy, new thin as wallpaper type TVs that look cool, new LG OLEDs, new headsets that look kind of nice. There's a 52-inch Thunderbolt hub monitor from Dell that I'll never pay for, but I'd like to look at it, because it's $2,800. Oof. But I like to dream about it. And so, lots of good stuff. OLED RGB striped gaming monitors, which is the upgrade to my 6K monitor for gaming. I love the 6K Asus monitor that I already own. Instead of buying the Apple outrageously expensive one, this is what I bought. I'm very happy with. Some keyboards, some prototype stuff every year. So, you always have to kind of play the game of like, what's actually going to ship? Amazon got into the TV world with a art line type TV because they saw the Samsung art TVs and they said, that's a great idea. We're going to do that too, but probably worse. So I can't wait to see actual reviews on that. And then, not a lot of, iRobot this year, but other robot vacuums, some that climb stairs, lots of combo floor vacuum and mopping bots out there. So lots of good stuff. What do you guys think?
I really like the refrigerator that you can talk to open and close. Feels like there's no way that ends poorly in life.
Yeah, I mean, like, how often have you, been in a situation where you're like, damn, if I just had an automatic fridge opener, I would be in better shape. I don't have that use case typically. I mean, if my hands are full, I guess, coming in from the car, but I'm not going directly into the fridge typically with those items.
No, I normally put it on the counter, organize it,
Which is just conveniently typically located right next to the fridge, is it not? The counter?
Except for in the picture in the Verge article where there's this like nice big like storage cabinet and then the sink.
I personally just carry the bags in from the car and just chuck them in there. So this would help me. It would. Yeah. I mean, that's the real way this would be used, right? Is that my kids would just be like, open, close.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the fridge door breaks.
Yeah. It's like Demolition Man, wasn't it? Illuminate and deluminate. Yeah. Open the door, unopen the door. I'm actually surprised there was not as much smart home stuff as I expected, because electricity prices are going up constantly. I think the market is still really fragmented. We got fancy devices, we got Apple things, Google things, Amazon things. We got LG. What else have we got? We got TP-Link. I mean, there's 1,000 companies making stuff, and there's no really cohesive. I mean, Matter's kind of getting there a little, I suppose, but there really isn't a cohesive thing. Like, I want to put occupancy sensors in the rooms so I can turn lights on automatically, but now I've got to figure out how to wire Ethernet to the thing to power it. Then I've got to have a smart bulb, and then I've got to have something that is low latency enough so that when somebody walks in, they're not tripping over things for 5 seconds until the light turns on. Like, why doesn't somebody just make a light that has, a microphone, a speaker, occupancy sensor, and the RGB built into it, I would pay $200 a room to illuminate my entire house with a device like that connected with Z-Wave or something.
Yeah, doesn't exist.
But no, it's like, you can get this thing from this company and you can use this little cable to like reflash it with ESP Home and do this. I don't want to do that. It has to be something I can hand off to the next person who moves in. It'd just be a nightmare trying to sell a place with some kind of hackish home assistant smart home.
And I bought like a sensor to play around with it, because I'm so sick of like the motion sensors that, like my kids are furious because they're reading a book and the lights just turn off. Because I don't have the lights turn on, but I do have things turn off automatically because I'm sick of walking around my house turning off all the lights.
Which nowadays with LED, does it actually matter? And I say that knowing that I have this conversation with my family every single day.
This is a conversation that every husband has in every family because we're all slightly autistic and we all hate overhead lights, I'm sure. So there's that. And then number two, like, why are you not in this room if all the lights are on in it?
I just assumed it was the law. I thought I had to.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of the dad the dad outfit. You get the shoes, you get the cargo pants, and then you get the turn off the lights.
I'm the opposite way around. I swapped all the lighting of the house to LEDs, and like you could literally doesn't on the whole house every day for maybe $1 a day.
I do that part too.
Lights turn on. It's not a lot.
That's why I said you have that autism part come into play on it too, and then you're just mad because the lights are on because overhead lights are the devil. So that's my
well, if they're in a different part of the house, I don't care. If I'm in a room, sure, I care, but I'm not going to nag somebody to not leave their half-watt nightstand lamp. That sort of thing.
Okay, but the question is, at night, do you have to walk around your house and turn off all the lights when everyone's gone to sleep?
I yell at machines now to turn out everything off. But yeah, I do have to turn everything off.
I mean, I do that. I have such an old house where the wiring can't support some of that, so I have to rewire parts of it, which is a different project I'm working on.
Well, no, it's just a constant battle, and it's just not good enough in terms of like occupancy sensors and like the sensors that work really well. It's like you have this like 20-foot USB cable, and you have to somehow mount it in the upper corner of your room, and it's like, well, what am I? So now I have to have this like ugly spaghetti cable. Like, no thanks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, smoke detectors for us will be perfect. Like, we don't all live in California. Some of us do, some of us don't. But there's building codes. Every bedroom's gonna have a smoke detector. Every hallway, outside the kitchen, they're all over the house. Put some millimeter wave sensors in there, not passive infrared ones, because those ones that suck if you don't move because you're reading the book. Put a sensor in straight out.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, we've got a Kickstarter plan coming up. I don't know. It's like so low hanging fruit,
and it can't be expensive. Like looking at the electronics, and some of these sensors are dirt cheap, so it's like. Yeah.
Oh man, you just go on Alibaba or something. You can buy like an ESP home thing for like $5.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah. All right. Well, there's a project for the year.
Yeah.
All right, Claude, let's go.
Make me a manufacturing plan for the occupancy sensor smoke detectors that are internet enabled and actually detect fire still, because that seems important.
Yep.
I mean, I do want to know about, like the Samsung display had a creaseless folding OLED panel, and then I find it funny because I see in the picture that I can see the crease.
Details.
And so I still wonder, like, this is rumored the year of the Apple folding phone, and I have zero interest in said folding phone, but I know Jonathan's a Fold fan. And I just, is this technology evolving? Is it super popular? Like, I don't see a lot of them in the wild. Now, I don't look for them often either, but I've never noticed it.
I mean, they're too expensive. I mean, I can see the Fold in mine, but then it's if you get the light just right, sure, it's annoying because you get a line down the middle. But normally I've got a bright video or something. I'm using it open like that. It's not perfect. Doesn't bother me. But no, I mean, the fact that they're still $1,700 or $1,800 for a folding phone is probably why you don't see many of them in the wild.
I just don't even trust myself with a $1,700 device in my pocket.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting nervous every year the iPhone gets more expensive. So I'm like, well, now it's $1,300 to replace this thing. So warranties start getting important.
Yeah.
The keyboard that you can program the 10 key, like, because there's people who love 10 key like myself, and there's people who hate it, and the haters keep trying to make it go away, and I'm like, just stop, please stop messing with my 10 key. I will use it forever till AI takes away my need to type.
Never will. You still have to talk to her.
Yeah, less and less I'm using the keyboard on the phone to type messages now. I just quickly hit the voice thing and just have it dictate. It's gotten good enough that it's probably more accurate than my swiping on the screen.
I'm still not totally on board with like voice commands and everything like that, because it's fine when I'm by myself, but like it gets awkward, like you know, and I there's 5 of us that live in this house, so very rarely are we in a room alone.
Yeah, like, okay, Google, remind me not to hang out with this guy again.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Like, oh, that was
inside voice, Google, inside voice.
A couple other things in here that are interesting, like this Pocketbook ink poster, Duna and Tila ink poster. Like this reminds me of the dream, you know, and I heard about Bill Gates when he first built his house in Seattle. The big story was like, well, when you get to the house, they give you a sensor that you carry around, and as you enter each room, it like the art changes to digital versions of the art that you like. Which back in, this is like late 90s, that was cutting edge. Like, you know, that didn't exist. The idea of digitizing all of your art and having it just display based on personal preferences, like that was crazy talk. But now you have an e-ink display that can do it for posters, and I'm like, that's a cool idea. Like, I love the dream of it. And then I see the price tag, and I'm like, $6,000.
Never mind.
For one? Like, screw that. For a 40-inch TV, basically, that is an e-ink poster in color, so it's not just gray. But that's kind of crazy. And then, But anyways, I think you guys said at the beginning, like, less home automation, less robots. Kind of, I would say I was sort of, other than some cool TVs that I'm sort of interested in buying, because it's been about 5 years since I bought my last TV, and it's about time to update them. I'm sort of kind of unimpressed with what I thought would be there versus what did get shipped out.
Yeah, don't care about Wi-Fi anymore. I mean, I don't see.
Not only have ubiquity, why?
Right. No.
Yeah.
Curling iron. Seriously, I mean, the e thing I like, actually. I think if the price was half the price, it would have a huge market, because think about all the restaurants who are paying for their
digital signage,
the digital signage, which would just save a fortune in electricity costs.
I mean, yeah, I have 2 dashboards in my house, like just, you know, that are using the same technologies you'd use for the digital signing, and I use them as like ways to communicate with the rest of the family and that kind of thing. But yeah, if it was something like yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Bring me
Do
food.
not disturb.
Yeah. I do have a button that says quiet, and when I hit the button, it does flash the dashboard downstairs and makes a noise. So like when we're recording and they're making too much noise, I'll just like hammer on the button.
Oh, that's what you're doing over there. Got it.
It's like pounding on the floor, but silently.
That's the idea.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
What do you use for the dashboard display? Because I'm looking for something like that to put, to update my home chores runs Kanban with instead of a whiteboard with Post-it notes.
So I use an app called DACboard, which used to be open source, but then it's sort of become private source. So, and then now there's a subscription, which is pretty low and it's pretty reasonable. But I do find that over time they're sort of stripping features away. But it is, it is something that's very configurable, and it's, nice, and it hooks into like Home Assistant, and it hooks into it's got a lot of integrations and stuff that I can just throw.
Is it touchscreen?
It does support
touchscreen.
So my one downstairs is touchscreen, one upstairs is not.
They're not cheap.
Oh, so you can run it. You can run it on your own hardware as well.
So it basically, I mean, they do sell hardware, but it runs on a Raspberry Pi.
Ah.
Yeah, they have looks like a CPU they connect to a monitor, which looks like a Raspberry Pi.
Yeah, it is. It is a Raspberry Pi.
A pre-bought Raspberry Pi.
Yeah.
Or you can just give it the SD card.
It is, yeah. And the software comes built into the, I don't know what they call it, the Raspbian software flasher. Like you could just select the OS, like it's already in there. So it is,
nice.
It's really easy to set up.
The wall display does look nice. I mean, from the picture. I mean, it's $600, so
yeah,
there's that.
But yeah, no, it would be kind of nice. I do think I like the world of like, you've got e-ink everywhere, and you can sort of use that as lighting. You can use that as sort of decor and change it all. Like, I think it would be neat, but yeah, You do have to have Bill Gates money to do it.
Yeah. Do you still use your Remarkable tool?
Yeah, I do actually. It's the only notebook I use anymore. So, and I've got.
You've almost sold me out like 3 times. It's been in my cart multiple times, and then
there's a color one now too.
Yeah, I'm thinking about upgrading.
Yeah,
I'll buy your old one.
Yeah.
I've been like Justin, where I've been like trying to commit to myself to do it for a long time, but like I don't know that my brain works in that way because I have like sheets of paper. So I'm a crazy person with like 3 sheets of paper on my desk. I flip between depending on what I need to do, depending on what hat I'm wearing for what thing I'm doing at that point, and I just don't know that I could flip that fast.
Yeah, I mean it's it's one of those things. It did take a little bit to get used to it, but it's also like now that I'm used to it, I don't think I could go back because finding stuff is so much easier, and it is making my handwriting better because in order to get the text recognition to work, I have to actually like pay attention. So,
do they have a special left-handed mode?
No, they do not, and it is horrible because the menu button is right where you don't want it to be.
Storms do like flipping the thing upside down.
Yeah.
All right, I need to make a note.
Yeah.
To build the
smoke alarm.
Smoke alarm CO2 sensor with all that crap in. That'd be kind of cool.
That'd be cool.
There it is, right there. Best recommendation ever was the Remarkable.
I love that thing
from Ryan.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in buying one. I just haven't pulled the trigger. And there's a bunch of competitors now too. And, Amazon I hear is garbage, so everyone says that one's bad. But
my wife likes hers, but I don't know if she's the best judge. And she used the Remarkable before I did. So,
I mean, maybe it's built more for lawyers.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Oh, every time you pick it up, it costs you $350.
Good lawyer joke right there to end the show. All right, guys. We'll see you next week here.
All right. Bye.
See you later.
See ya.